Revelation chapter 9, a reading from The Remedy, a New Testament expanded paraphrase by Timothy R Jennings M.D. The fifth angel trumpeted his warning, and I saw a fallen angel, symbolized by a star falling from the sky to the earth. The fallen angel had the key to accessing the abyss, symbolizing spiritualism and mysticism, being the key to accessing the pit of demonic influences. He opened the abyss, and smoke rose from it like that from a huge furnace, symbolizing the immense rise in popularity and acceptance of spiritualism and mysticism. The sun and sky were darkened by the smoke, symbolizing the minds of people having become dark and no longer looking to God for enlightenment. Out of the smoke came locusts that had the power of scorpions. As locusts consume the fruit of the land, so too the sting of sin consumes the fruit of the Spirit. The locusts were unable to harm the people whose minds were so settled into the truth about God that they could not be moved, symbolized by the healthy grass, plants, and trees, but could harm those whose minds were not sealed into the truth about God. They were not able to inflict direct physical harm, but caused tortured thinking and mental anguish for 5 months. And the agony suffered was from the sting of living outside God's design for life, the scorpion sting of sin. Dying to self and being renewed in righteousness is preferable to living in the anguish of sin. Therefore, many will seek to die to self and be renewed, but they will not find it, because they seek their own mystical method of renewal. The forces of evil, swarming like locusts, were prepared like battle horses for their assault. On their heads they had what looked like crowns of gold, and they had human faces, which meant that they claimed their ways would ennoble the mind and cleanse the character. They came subtly, pretending to be gentle helpers like women, but in reality they were ravenous lions, devouring and destroying. Rather than a breastplate of righteousness, they had breastplates of iron, symbolic of their corrupt characters and the power to enslave the mind. Their wings sounded like thunder, or the rumble of horses galloping into battle, which symbolized the rapid spread of their distorted mystical ways through the minds of people upon earth. Their tails were like those of scorpions, symbolic of the lies that deceive, and their sting is the sting of sin that results from believing lies about God. They had the power to torment people for 5 months. They followed their king who ruled them, the fallen angel from the abyss, also known as Abaddon in Hebrew and Apollyon in Greek, but we call him Satan. The first woe has happened, 2 more are to come. The 6th angel trumpeted his warning, and I heard a voice coming from the horns of the golden altar before God, which is Christ speaking while he works to cleanse the minds of his people. The voice said to the 6th angel who held the warning trumpet, "It is time to release the 4 angels bound to the great river Euphrates, who have stood as a barrier protecting the people." Then the 4 angels who had been waiting for that hour, day, month, and year were released, and they let go of what they held back, and 1/3 of people on earth died. The number of the enemy forces was more than 2 times 10,000 times 10,000. The number was beyond counting, symbolizing the number composed of peoples from the entire world. The horses and riders were a conglomerate of diverse forces uniting together to oppose God. They were assembled in 3 main divisions: those who believed the lies about God and promoted them through churches had breastplates of fiery red. Those who practiced mysticism and spiritualism had breastplates of metallic blue. And those who merely pursued political power and coerced with the power of the state had breastplates of sulphur yellow. They were all bent on destroying truth, love, and freedom. As symbolized by their horses with heads like the heads of lions, they destroyed with fiery lies, smoky mysticism, and coercive pressure. 1/3 of humanity had their characters destroyed by the combined effort of the fiery lies, smoky mysticism, and coercive pressure. The power of these enemy forces came from the lies and falsehoods they promoted, symbolized by the smoke coming from their mouths and by their tails being like the heads of snakes, which were able to inflict injury. The rest of humanity, whose consciences were not completely seared by these assaults, still refused to turn away from their own self-promotion. They continued to trust demons and the idols of their own heart's desire that are not even alive. They did not turn away from destroying others, or from mystical and magical practices, or from sexual immorality or theft.